Hey, Mad Mob, what's going on? Episode 8, 9? Where are we at, boys?
I think if we're including the Q&As, this is like 9. Yeah.
9. Episode 9. All right, well, this is it's a hot takes episode. I'm going to throw some hot takes out here. I'm going to see where the boys are at on either side of the coin. You'll get my take on the hot take. I think we can correlate these hot takes to fantasy performance as well, right? If we're cold on a team, we're going to fade those players on that team generally, at least their secondary and tertiary options. First hot take. Who has a better record, Patriots or the Dolphins this year?
Ooh.
This is on the fly, Mad Mob. He didn't tell us any of this. He got them out. So these are genuine reactions.
These are genuine.
I'll let the Homer answer this.
Yeah, well, you guys think about this. Let me add a little more detail. So, I've got some hot takes here. There's no prep. There's no prior talking. I want genuine reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So,
boys, I'm taking the Patriots this year. It's not even because I'm a homer. I know it might sound like that. I mentioned at the beginning of last year that if Mac Jones got us even a 9-8 record in his rookie season and happened to make the playoffs, I'm happy with that. I'm good. We did that. We got obliterated by the Bills. They took out 20 years of frustration and losing on us in one game, which we'll probably see some more of that in the near future. But I trust Bill Belichick and the defense to mess with Tua in the offense, really. He's very good against young quarterbacks. And, I mean, that's just for those 2 games that we play them. But I trust in us to go at least 9-8 again. So I'll take that.
Wayne?
I'm going Dolphins.
Why?
Why are you tittering, man? I'm not a big fan of Mac Jones. I think he did okay. Like, why did the Patriots go out and draft another quarterback fairly early? In the 3rd round, something like that? Maybe a little bit further back.
It was further back.
5th? Was it the 5th round? Either way, like, why do you have a very, very young quarterback and you go and draft another one? That didn't make sense to me. But on top of that, I look at the weapons. Bill Belichick way. You're right. I look at the weapons that the Dolphins have, and they are just incredible. They are better everywhere on the field except the quarterback position. And Tua is going to make the leap this year, like Goni mentioned in past episodes. Tua is going to make this leap this year. He's got better weapons across the field. Coaching is obviously worse. The Patriots' time is up, man. The Patriots' time is up. They're just preying on Bill Belichick's genius to carry them just a little bit further. But talent to talent, Dolphins are a better team.
Okay. Of the 2 teams, which running back will score the most fantasy points?
Damian Harris.
Wayne?
Damian Harris. I'm getting out of the RBBCs, boy.
Yeah, I'm going Patriots too. I'm fading Tua, man. I don't like Tua. It showed in my wide receiver rankings and my Gesicki ranking. I don't like Tua.
And they got rid of Brian Flores for whatever reason with that whole scandal that went on. Brian Flores was a good coach.
He did great. He started terrible.
What did he win? 7 out of the last 8 or something? He
won 8 in a row.
He's great. The Steelers got a steal out of that with him being the defensive coordinator now.
Am I allowed to fact check on our hot takes?
Yeah, fact check.
Yeah, go for it. Why not?
Okay, then let me see what the Dolphins did because I feel like they won like 8 in a row or something ridiculous.
I think it was 7 out of the last 8 for sure, but fact check me on that. I mean, aside from that, though, I said Tua is going to take the leap this year. He's got weapons around him, but it's going to be a new system. It's going to be a new head coach. So you're starting from square one. So you have on-field experience. It's just you're learning a new system, and it's kind of rough for first year. I mean, everyone goes through the trials and tribulations of learning a new offense. So. I don't know.
They won 7 in a row, 8 of the last 9.
Okay.
I mean, the whole.
And you let go of your coach.
Yeah,
they were mollywopping teams. I mean, they were whooping them.
Yeah, I mean, the whole locker room knows your owner is racist, your GM is racist, right? I mean, it was a racist play at the end of the day. It was determined. Did he win his lawsuit? Do we know?
I think they're going through the motions right now, and I think the NFL wanted Roger Goodell to be the arbitrator, which doesn't make sense at all. And I think I actually read something recently where they a court basically ruled against Goodell being the arbitrator, which I think is 100% the way it should be. He should. 100%. The owners pay him. Why would he be the judge, jury, and executioner in this? He's going to protect his owners and the guys that pay him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think a sneaky player, a guy I'm gonna try to steal later in drafts is Devonta Parker. If he can stay healthy, can Bill take advantage? He's talented, right? I mean, he's what they're missing. That big-bodied outside guy to make plays down the field for you.
The only thing that I can see on the Brian Flores thing is that they just recently added 2 more plaintiffs to that lawsuit. Steve Wilkes, who was the Cardinals head coach in 2018, and Ray Horton, who was an assistant since '94 and interviewed for the Titans job in 2016, which that is crazy if you've been an assistant in the NFL for over 2 decades that you don't manage a head coaching job at that
you don't get a shot. Yeah.
So, So it's heating up. We don't know
for Devontae Parker. For the Devontae Parker thing, though, man, I don't know. Devontae Parker did his best work when he was getting hyper targeted by Fitzmagic in Miami when Fitzmagic made his pit stop there before going elsewhere, like he does every place. And I just don't see Mac Jones being that kind of guy, man. I think he spreads it out, and I don't know. I think he'll be decent. I think wide receiver 3. Like a wide receiver 3, not the wide receiver 3, obviously. I think wide receiver 3 is his ceiling.
Decent flex.
Sure. Yeah. But he's like, I wonder what, I mean, I haven't looked at his ADP, I'll be honest. He's got to be a guy you're taking late, right? I mean, he's behind Myers. He might be behind Thornton in terms of ADP.
No,
potentially.
I wouldn't put him that far.
I mean, he's kind of left a bad taste in everybody's mouth because you draft him and he gets hurt and hasn't performed.
Yeah.
He's not making or breaking your team though. So
no. But he's a dart throw, but he's got talent.
I see what you're saying though. People drafted him as a back end WR1 top tier WR2 for years, and he was always a letdown. I see what you're saying. I agree with you.
Do you have that ADP yet?
Yeah, I'm working on it, man.
Doing some math.
No, I don't. I don't have it. It's not pulling up right now.
It's not relevant. Okay, I'm gonna give you another one. Does Mike Tomlin have his first losing record of his career this year?
No. Nope.
Steelers 500 or above. Go call your shot.
It can't be 500.
Yeah, 9 and 8. I think 9 and 8 is the floor. He's too good of a coach. Their defense is phenomenal. They'll find a way. They'll at least split with all of these teams within their division, I think, and they're gonna give everyone a good game regardless. I don't love Trubisky, but T.J. Watt is not happy not breaking the sack record, and that man is scary, just like his brother was during his prime years. So. Him, Minka, you still got Cam Hayward there. They're going to be a good team, man. They'll be good enough to go over 500.
Wayne? Now, Wayne faded Najee hard, if you guys remember on the RB podcast. And if you fade Najee hard, you're fading the Steelers hard, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you're saying Mike Tomlin posts his first losing record?
Yes, I feel like the AFC is an absolute gauntlet, and if you are not in the upper echelon, listen. The Rock said it best: "Big dogs gonna eat, little dogs need to get off the porch." Steelers are a little dog now. It seems weird because the Steelers have been big dogs for a while, and they are so close to being a big dog again because they have some offensive weapons. They have a great defense. They're just a quarterback away. But next year, they little dogs, and they going to get off the porch while the big dogs eat. AFC is not a joke this year. The Bengals are going to mollywop them twice. Browns are going to give them a nice little spanking. Ravens are going to be that's going to be like watching paint dry, but that's fine. Just the AFC is rough. Their strength of schedule is middle of the pack.
So if we think the Steelers blow 500, and Wayne, you made your case.
Barely. I'm on the opposite. I'm like 8 and 9.
Yeah. Okay. So going, who do you in the division? Who do you have finishing worse than the Steelers? They're above 500.
The Browns.
What about the Ravens?
No. I'll probably take the Ravens, and I'm taking the Bengals, of course. I think the Bengals win the division this year.
So if we think the Steelers are 9-8, 10-7 type team, that can support an RB1, wide receiver 1, and a tight end 1, right?
No, not a wide receiver 1 in my opinion.
Okay. Wayne, do they have any skill player in the top 12 at their position this year?
Deontay Johnson.
You think he's a top 12?
Yeah.
Even with him going 8-9?
Yeah.
Okay. They've spoken that amount.
Also, I just want to say I'm looking at their schedule. They get to play the AFC East this year, so they're going to get an easy one against the Jets. They're going to get.
Is that super easy?
The Jets? Yeah, the Jets are going to Jets, man. Come on now. The Jets. They're the Jets.
They're better than normal. The Jets beat the Bengals last year. Let it be known.
The Browns were going to Browns for the longest, and they drudged themselves up out.
Bro, and the Dolphins always beat the Patriots once a year during Tom Brady's heyday, but they're still trash, man. Like, they have Atlanta, they have Carolina, they have there's plenty. I think they could beat the Colts as well. Like, I think 9-8 is attainable for sure.
They ain't beating the Colts, my boy.
They can.
They ain't beating the Colts, my boy.
Okay. All right. So look, you mentioned a lot of bad teams. Tell me your 2 worst teams in the NFL this year. Going. Actually, let's go with Wayne. Wayne hasn't gone first. Tell me your 2 worst teams this year, Wayne.
Giants and Texans.
Wow. Okay. Giants and Texans.
That's a tough act to follow right there, because I have publicly stated that the Giants can and will be picking in the top 5 next year on my Saquon Barkley take.
We hate you.
Yeah, just for fantasy, though. You're probably a good guy.
Yeah.
You have massive quads. But tiny baby little ligaments.
Yeah, I want to – never mind. Just continue.
So, I mean – the worst teams, my 2 worst teams in the league this year are probably going to be, give me the Giants.
Wow.
And the Jaguars.
Wow. I'm different than both you guys, man. I've got Falcons. I've got Seahawks. I think
that's fair.
I think Seahawks just their division, man. I see them going 0-6 in their division. I don't see them winning a game.
Why? I'm not far off. I agree. Seahawks are going to suck this year. Falcons are going to suck this year.
We're picking between the turds, man. I mean,
sure. But why the Giants? That one kind of surprises me. I feel like their defense was good last year. Their defense was above average.
You know what else they're above average at?
What's that?
Their ability to lose football games. Sure. They're top tier. They're S tier caliber at losing football games and making bad decisions. And yeah, I mean, they did it in the draft. They drafted another wide receiver in Wan'Dale Robinson. Like I said before, you make 2 good picks in the first round. These boys are Kentucky fans, all right? I'm not saying anything against Wan'Dale Robinson at all. It's just you don't need to do that.
I'm also looking up the defensive stats.
I feel like they were.
And I'm seeing 23rd for the Giants.
Oh, in overall?
Yeah, regular season overall.
Okay.
Gave up 396 pass attempts, 23.3 a game, 354 yards allowed per game.
So, if you
130 rush yards allowed per game, that's not good at all.
130. So, if you had to take one Giants fantasy player on your fantasy team, you have to carry one. Who are you carrying?
Say it again.
If you have to carry one Giants fantasy player on your roster, you got to start them every week. What Giants player are you taking?
That's ugly.
Yeah, you have to take one, and you have to play him every week, no matter what, injured or not. Which Giants player are you taking?
What a bad guy.
Count.
What a bad guy through the injured or not, knowing good and well that Saquon had to be
Saquon, right?
Man,
so
hey, that's what he's really wanting to get at is taking Saquon. But you know what? I'm not going to do it.
Give me Sterling Shepard.
You can't take Danny Dimes. That's the cop out.
Give me Sterling Shepard, boy.
Sterling
I don't want Saquon.
Who you take, Tony? No,
for his ADP, for his ADP and his potential, I'll take Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay is, I mean, you can get that man in the 100th round, and he's probably the only wide receiver one in the league that you can get in the 100th round.
Yeah, fair enough.
Listen, hey, Sterling Shepard's been a top 40 PPR wide receiver the past 3 years.
That's true.
That's a little known stat.
That is true. What about Kadarius Toney? I'm on record.
What about him?
Yeah, what about him, bro?
The most talent on the wide receiving core. Also the biggest slobberhead.
He's not the biggest. He's not the best talent, bro.
I'm on record saying I disagree.
All right. I jest, Mad Mob. You can't see my face. I jest. Lions.
Unless you find us on YouTube, Mad Fantasy Football Podcast.
Lions. Above 500 or below 500?
Oh, man.
They lost so many close ones last year. They could have been 500 last year if they could have won the close ones.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have. I'm gonna go under. I'm going under 500. Just for the history of them, man. They're not ready yet. Matt Stafford doesn't play for them anymore. They're still the Lions, and it's just hard for me to get on board. Like Wayne said, I mean, we've mentioned it before. They had so many close games last year, and I really want them to get over 500. But if I have to pick one side of the line or the other, I'm taking the history and what I know.
Wayne,
we're rooting for the Lions this year. I love the coach. Love that he cried up on the podium. Gotta love the emotion. This one's a hard one. Man, I wish I could see. I should look up the strength of schedule. I'm pretty sure they have an easy strength of schedule this year.
I think the NFC North does have it kind of easy. I'm not sure who they match up with.
I'll find out for you. But at the same time,
I want to say it's like it's back there. It's like 26, 27, 28, like in that area.
Okay.
I mean, they play, it looks like the NFC East, who is statistically like the worst division in football. So that's always a plus. They play Seattle. They play Jacksonville. They play Carolina. Of course, their division. So we'll call it the NFC East and, yeah, a couple other turds here and there in the AFC East.
Before I do this, am I allowed to look at their schedule? Can we run through their schedule really quick?
Yeah.
I just did. I have it up right now.
Okay.
While you do that, Wayne, I'll give my opinion just to give you a little bit of a few minutes to look that over. I'm going over here, and it's not close for me. Matter of fact, I think they can win 10 games. The talent's there. And to me, they play hard. They play hard for Dan Campbell. Caught a few Lions games, either through red zone or they just happen to be on.
You didn't see him a lot on red zone because it only pops up on those games when they're about to score.
Touche.
I
did.
I saw a few plays from the Lions last year.
I think they're over 500. I think they're at 9-8. If I put them at beating the Eagles at home, beating the Commanders at home, splitting with the Vikings, beating the Seahawks, losing to the Patriots, losing to the Cowboys, losing to the Dolphins, losing to the Packers twice, beating the Bears twice, beating the Giants, losing to the Bills, beating the Jags. Yeah.
Beating the Bears twice?
Justin Fields, of course, he beat the Bears twice.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I mean, think about it from a fantasy perspective.
It could be very close.
end the year with DeAndre Swift, T.J. Hawkinson, and then Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams in the flex, right? And that's a strong roster.
Yeah, that defense ain't bad either. They got old Jeffrey. How do you pronounce this? Okudah.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff Okudah, who has not lived up to his 3rd overall pick yet.
Yeah,
because he's hurt every year.
He's hurt. Talent's
He's
there.
hurt. He's hurt every. Dude, Jared Goff. Jared Goff. I mean, I know we've said he's not that bad, and that's fine, but he's not that good for real football. He was on the absolute brink of being a bust with the Rams until they made the bold move to bring in Andrew Whitworth, who saved his career for a couple more years. And I mean, he was number 1 pick, man. He's not that good.
It's just a lot.
He's okay for fantasy. He's not good for real life.
It's their defense, man. Their defense is just atrocious.
Yeah, everything about them is atrocious. They're the Lions. They're the Lions.
I think you can end the year with 3 Lions players on your starting fantasy roster. Hawkinson, Swift, and Amon-Ra or Jameson Williams or Chark in the flex. And end up with
but you won't make the playoffs. You can have them there, but you won't make the playoffs.
Swift and Hawkinson?
Yeah, probably not. If you said 3, so you're locking up 3 spots.
You got to have Amon-Ra on the flex. Probably Amon-Ra. Say the best receiver.
There's probably like, I don't know, 31 other teams I'd rather have a triple stack with.
Really? 31 other teams?
No, not really, but Dang,
fading the Lions hard. Lions fans out there, I'm rooting for you this year.
Let's stay in the NFC North. I've got the Vikings winning the division. Tell me why they can't.
I'm not. I had a conversation with one of my friends not long ago that at first I said that the Packers wouldn't make the playoffs, and then I realized how weak the NFC really is, and so I think they can get in.
Yeah.
But no, I think the Vikings absolutely can. I don't think their defense was great last year, so maybe they get back to their defensive ways. You get a healthy year out of, Dalvin Cook, which unfortunately never happens.
Never.
So maybe 14 games or so and healthy going into the playoffs. And another great year out of Kirk Cousins. He had a really good year last year. Justin Jefferson's going to eat. Adam Thielen, it will probably only go for 500 yards, but he'll have like double-digit touchdowns because that's all he does.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think they can win the division.
Dwayne? Man, hey, this is his moment. Just let him have the floor. 5 minutes. Go ahead, Wayne.
Listen, I'll tell you why the Vikings can't win that division. Because they got Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers under center.
You just threw this man the alley-oop, and he just dunked it on our faces.
Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers.
Let's hear it.
That's it.
That's the whole conversation.
That's it. Aaron Rodgers, dude. The Vikings have Jetta and Dalvin.
Adam Thielen. I'll take Thielen.
No, Thielen's a name at this point. Look at his stats last year. He's
great.
No, he had a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a ton of touchdowns. He was great last year.
Okay. Nobody's worried about Thielen. You got Jair Alexander, who can take on the Jetta train. That's their best offensive weapon. Unfortunately, the Packers have one of the best cornerbacks to eliminate that. And then we're just looking at Aaron Rodgers versus Kirk Cousins. Aaron Rodgers all day. Then you have Dalvin Cook versus Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones all day.
Oh, he's doing the big matchup versus the big matchup thing. I mean,
Aaron Rodgers or the Packers win
just in case there's an emergency play-in game for that final play.
Listen,
right?
Packers are better at every important position.
I will say, okay, Adam Thielen was 28th last year, PPR ranked, wide receiver 3.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Not a bad compliment.
Not good.
Oh, wow.
Not good, not bad. Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers and future MVP Aaron Jones. We're gonna ask.
Listen, bro, listen. I give me the Vikings. The coaching changes they made. I like Mike Zimmer. I do. Good coach. But they were stagnant offensively. Much needed coaching changes.
Were the Packers stagnant or?
No.
Okay.
I don't think the Vikings were stagnant. I mean, Kirk Cousins finished as wasn't he a top 10 quarterback last year? think he was a top 10.
I think it was a team.
Just a team?
I'm saying it's not his team.
I don't know. He finished as the QB 11, Kirk Cousins
11,
did. He had a...
What Aaron Rodgers finish?
Bro, no one cares, man. no one cares.
Everybody cares.
All right. We'll move on there. Wayne, how many games does Jacksonville win this year? Give me a number. Don't look at the schedule. I just want a gut, just deep in your loins. Give me a number.
Oh, you have to look at the schedule to
at least have a 4.
Deep in the loins. 4. Goni.
4.
How many did they win last year? 3? Do you know? Can I know that?
How do I know? Going to have all the qualifying questions.
I'll look it up.
I need a loins answer. It's not a loins answer.
I didn't. Okay, fine. He can tell me afterwards how many games they won. I'm pretty sure they only won like 2 games last year.
Like
so they didn't really do enough for me to protect Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
I mean, 3 games.
Okay. Tell me the best fantasy player on the roster.
That's easy.
Best fantasy player on the roster is going to be
relative to their position. You know what I mean? Meaning, if ETN is the 21st running back and Laquan Treadwell is the 20th receiver, Laquan would technically be the best.
Oh, well, I mean, really, it still works in the quarterback's favor.
Yeah, but let's exclude Lawrence. I mean, come on.
Okay, best positional player. I'm the Travis Etienne.
Wayne.
Etienne, yeah, for sure. Let's have a little fun fact here, or a little game. The Jacksonville Jaguars won 3 games last year. You were correct. They beat 2 teams that were over 500. 2 of their 3 wins were teams over 500.
Yep.
Titans, if I remember right, was one of them.
No. Colts. They beat at the end of the year to get them out. Yep.
Can you all think of the other one? Final score was 9-6. They won 9-6.
It was the Bills. I remember because we have Josh Allen on our dynasty team, and I remember just being sick to my stomach, thinking we were going to obliterate them.
Yeah, that's crazy. The Bills lost to the Jags 9-6. The Jags came back and beat the Colts after losing 50-10 to the Patriots. You couldn't have been more wrong about the Titans. The Titans obviously played them twice last year and beat them a combined 57-19.
Ouch.
Including a 20-0 shutout.
How good do you think it's got to feel to beat when you're well out of the playoffs? Like your season ended weeks ago, probably at the halfway point of the year, and you booted a division rival out of the playoffs on the final week of the season. I mean, that's got to be a confidence builder going into next year.
They're definitely grinning. They're definitely grinning on their way to the locker room.
Are you grinning, or are you just thinking about going out to the club later that night? Does it really matter to you?
I'm grinning because you're like, I wonder if I'll run into any Colts because they don't have anything to prepare for now.
It's a good confidence builder, though, man. You finish the season on a high note, and you know that you just beat a potential playoff team. You know that you're good enough to beat a potential playoff team if things go right for you.
Okay. Next question. Tell me the first coach fired this year, and I'm going to give you some Vegas odds.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here. Let me pull this up. It changes all the time.
First coach fired.
Yes. Okay, here it is right here. Hang on. There's an updated article.
Wayne, you got any off the top of your head that you might be thinking of? I'm thinking Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know if they just resigned him, but
not Cliff. They did, didn't they?
I don't know. I don't know if they gave him one or not.
The one that comes to mind right off the bat is Frank Reich.
Frank Reich, huh?
Wow.
You can't have that much talent on a team and miss the playoffs by losing to the Jags at the end. I think I think his hopes and dreams are hinging on Matt Ryan being successful, because if they go, it's Carson Wentz sucks. That's the reason we missed. So they go when they get a veteran, successful quarterback in Matt Ryan. If Matt Ryan doesn't pan out, Frank Reich, he's out.
Okay, Goni. Wayne, I think that's a good call, by the way. Go.
I don't know. Pete Carroll, maybe.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I could see Pete Carroll potentially, but because
do they Tom Coughlin him, or do they just like say, "Hey man, you want to retire? You should retire."
They'll probably ask him to resign and go ahead and fade into the sunset here. But yeah, they're going to be bad. They're going to be really bad this year. I think he was saying that he doesn't want to be around. Plus, I think if DK gets a contract elsewhere, if he's like, nah, I don't want to sign with you guys, trade me, or I'm out of here at the end of the season. Yeah. He's got nothing. Why would you want to stick around for that anyways?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good call. I've got Mike McCarthy. Man, he was on the hot seat last year, boys.
Cowboys guy.
Cowboys guy. You start slow, he's gone. Promise.
I will say, I think Mike McCarthy's gone either way, just because I think that they want Sean Payton in Dallas.
Yeah, bad.
No, it's the Jason Garrett effect, bro. Whenever Jason Garrett was on the hot, it, Bag. Let's see you right there. Anytime Garrett was on the hot seat, the Cowboys show out, boy, until we get to the playoffs, of course. And
they want Sean Payton.
Yeah, dude, it's a play for Sean. We showed out last year with McCarthy. Great in the regular season. Listen,
here's
You're always good in the regular season.
Here's a guy in the division that I think is on the hot in my team's division. I mean, you got to. I don't care if the personnel isn't there, which it isn't. But like, can Matt Rule keep a job for a third year?
Interesting.
His tenure at Carolina has been well below 500.
He goes as Sam Darnold goes this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Really what it is. They traded for that man and then they extended him without him taking one snap. He is completely responsible for that dumpster fire.
I remember he said, I don't want to know. He said, I didn't want anybody to tell me anything about Sam Darnold. I wanted to come up with my own conclusions. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, like that's the nice guy approach. But at the same time, like, this is the NFL. You should probably see what he's about before you go ahead and sign him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I can't find the Vegas odds, man. They're not out yet for coaches fired. So I got here first. If McCarthy's got to be top 3. I'm telling you, boys. All right. How many teams from the AFC West make the playoffs? Raiders, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos. Do all 4 get in?
No. I think 3.
Okay. What 3? Who's left out?
Raiders.
The Spenders. Okay. Sure about that, Wayne? You look like you smelled something terrible.
Yeah, because I don't like that question. That's a tough one. Because I feel like that is such an incredible division.
Well, let's see. Like, all right, so the Bills are going to win their division. So that's one. We're taking the Bengals out of. Are we in consensus taking the Bengals out of the AFC North?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2. We'll do AFC South.
Colts.
Colts? Colts sound good to me. Colts or Titans?
I have Colts over Titans this year.
Okay, so we'll do Colts. Colts are 3 there.
But the Titans got to take a wild card spot, right?
I think the one team from the AFC East has to take a wild card, right? Browns, Steelers, Ravens.
AFC North.
I'm sorry, AFC North. One of those, right?
Okay, so the Ravens.
Okay.
Who else? Huh?
Yeah.
So Ravens over any other wild card team from the other divisions aside from the AFC West yet?
Miami, New England's depends what you think about them, right?
Right.
I would take all the teams from the AFC West over Miami, New England, Steelers, or the Ravens probably.
Okay, so then you wouldn't be taking one from the AFC North. So
I think
I'm saying 3 at most, dude. It's never been done before. I know they look great on paper, but so what? They're going to beat the crap out of each other. You never know. Chargers defense gets hurt every year. I feel like what's his name? The safety who's awesome. Who is it?
For who?
For the Chargers.
Derwin James.
Starts with a D.
Derwin James.
Derwin James. Derwin James is supposed to be like coming out of college, one of the best safeties ever, and he has a good rookie year, and the man gets hurt every year. You get other guys with injuries as well.
Khalil Mack.
I love them. I want them to be great. It's just injuries happen. These things happen.
Khalil Mack's a good signing. I don't care how old you are.
Oh, he is, and going with Joey Bosa as well is awesome. And they have, I believe, good corners there.
Are we in consensus that the Chargers are winning that division?
It's tough between them and the Broncos, man.
I have the Chargers winning it, yes.
I think it's Chargers, Broncos.
Yes.
Chiefs, Raiders. And
I'm saying Chiefs don't make the playoffs.
The Chiefs might
don't make the
be
playoffs.
the odd man.
That's a tough one for me, saying Chiefs over Raiders. That is not an easy one for me to say. But yeah, I agree. That is not a hot take at all that the Chiefs are missing the playoffs this year.
So let's say they beat up on each other, though, right? The AFC East is no cakewalk this year like normal. The Jets improved. We can all agree on. The roster is better. It's more talented, right?
I agree. Yeah. Outside of the Jets is going to Jets narrative, the Jets got better. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Miami should be solid on paper. Patriots, are going to be solid. Right? I mean, there's going to be some – the division's decent. AFC North, solid. Real solid. I mean, Browns with Watson. You got the Ravens with Lamar healthy.
It's just crazy how much better the AFC is than the NFC is now.
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago, the NFC would have like demolished the AFC, and now like it's just done such a turn with all these young quarterbacks being successful that now the AFC is like just leaps and bounds better than the NFC. It's hilarious.
I mean, Jags and Texans are locks to miss playoffs. Probably the Jets, right? Those three teams are locks to miss the playoffs.
Ain't no probably, yes. Jets, Texans, Jags are locks.
The fourth team in the AFC West is better than the second team in every other division, right? Let's say it's the Raiders or the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're better than what are we thinking? The Patriots
or the Ravens or the Browns or Steelers, however way you want to go there.
Yeah, Chiefs and Raiders are better than all of them, I believe. In my opinion. Maybe the Colts Titans issue. I don't know what we decided there. I think you all said Colts, but I think Titans are a very good team. They might not be better than the Titans.
I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes has owned Lamar over the entirety of their career, so I'm not going to switch up on that now. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess. And the Raiders are sneaky good anyways. Like, even before this year getting Devontae Adams, I was saying last year they were sneaky good. So, I don't know, man.
It's a hard one. Okay. Let's say the Ravens lose wild card round. Lock to re-sign Lamar Jackson? Absolute lock?
You have to.
Yeah.
You don't want to drop into the black hole abyss of trying to find another franchise quarterback. The man's an MVP.
He's a franchise quarterback, though. He's won one playoff game.
Who are you gonna who outside of Lamar? Who? If you don't want to pay Lamar, who?
Okay, let's look at the roster. Right.
Hang on. Before you get into the roster, the one playoff game thing, I think Matt Stafford hadn't done much in that field and didn't win an MVP for the Lions for years, and they gave him a second contract. Why? Because he is really good. He's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play for the Lions. I mean, is Lamar not one of the best quarterbacks to ever play for the Ravens?
Yeah, I agree. It's the only consistent thing on that roster. You got to keep it.
Is Joe Flacco better than Lamar Jackson?
No. Not even on his best day.
He had one good playoffs and got paid for it.
One good run in the playoffs. He's not good. Their defense carried them, bro. And I'm not gonna lie, he got hot for those 3-4 games, but so what?
Got the bag and sailed off into the sunset.
So kids, would one of y'all mind to look up Joe Flacco's career winning percentage compared to Lamar's?
Oh lordy.
If y'all don't mind. So
it's significantly worse, I promise.
No, it very well could be. But look at the roster, man. They're not committed long term to anybody, right? I mean, if you cut ties with Lamar, it's a clear rebuilding effort moving forward.
Joe Flacco has a 98-80 record in his career, which is good for a .551 winning percentage.
Okay.
So there's that. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just got it really quick. Lamar Jackson career win-loss is 41-17. Bro. That's significantly better.
You look ridiculous right now.
No, I don't. I asked that because I honestly didn't know. But if he can't win a playoff game for you, what's the point of paying him big money? He gets you there, but he can't win it.
Because he's not the reason that they're not winning it. Lamar puts the Ravens on his back and gets you to the playoffs. And if you're losing,
let me also dead this right now. What about Michael Vick? Do you think the Falcons ever dreamed of not giving Michael Vick money?
Well, I think Michael Vick has a better arm than Lamar, so I think it's apples to oranges a little bit.
I don't think Michael Vick ever won an MVP.
No, he didn't. But after his MVP season, to steal Wayne's favorite word, clear regression, Lamar. The league's caught up, bro. The league is caught up to Lamar.
But he wins. He wins more games than Michael Vick did back then. A 41-17 record, bro. You play the game to win. No one's gonna look at that and be like, oh, well, we've had 5 years. He won an MVP. We only won one playoff game. This is the ceiling for him.
They're
going to build up around him, bro. They're going to build up around him. They're maybe not this year because they're going to have to pay him, and we've just seen the absolute domino effect of all these quarterbacks getting big money. But like Wayne said, man, you don't let a franchise quarterback go.
Can you blame, if the Ravens do poorly this year, can you blame Lamar Jackson? Or are you going to say it's because they have absolute hot garbage everywhere else except for the tight end position there?
I think it's the nature of the NFL, right? That's why the quarterbacks get paid the most, because they shoulder the most blame.
And it's the most difficult position in all of sports.
I mean, you got to, right? It's like Tony. Look, I'm going to throw a homer name out there. It's like Tony Romo, right? What was the knock on Tony Romo? He couldn't win in the playoffs.
Yeah, but no Cowboys win in the playoffs.
Huh?
Yeah, why did Dak get a big contract? Why did y'all sign Dak? Before Dak was signed, we had this argument many times. We're like, dude, do you really pay Dak that money? Absolutely. I paid Dak all that money. But why? He's not doing anything for you.
Right.
Peyton Manning didn't get it done in his first contract. Drew Brees certainly didn't get it done in his first contract. Aaron Rodgers didn't get it done in his first contract. Like, just because it doesn't happen, you see it more now with the younger guys, getting to the Super Bowl or whatever, and some of them winning it. Your Russell Wilsons, your Patrick Mahomes. But there's been plenty of precedent before that where guys don't win the Super Bowl on their first deal.
If Josh Allen doesn't win it this year, do they re-sign him?
Well, yeah, but yes, they do.
Justin Herbert?
But my question, the question.
Joey B?
You've seen what Lamar can do. And I'm going to answer your question here, Wayne. You've seen what Lamar can do with your eyes, right? He won an MVP. Is that a guy that, as a Ravens fan, you see it for 4 more years, you think, yeah, we got a good chance this year to win it all?
Yes.
The ball 20 times a game?
Yes, okay. Just because, A, he wins. B, man, I'm telling you, this is a Buccaneers fan here who watched quarterback after quarterback go in and out the door, in and out the door, in and out the door. You do not want to be in that revolving door of quarterback situation. It's a miserable place to be. So you don't let somebody who can win football games, who can get you to the playoffs. Once you get to the playoffs, half of it, 50% of it is just who can get hot.
Yep.
Okay.
I know Lamar has a great chance to get me to the playoffs. And then from there, whatever happens.
Yep.
But I do not want to be like, listen, he's only getting me to the playoffs. I got to get rid of him. I got to get rid of him because he's not winning me a Super Bowl. He's just getting me to the playoffs. And then who? You're going to cross your fingers that you can pull a franchise quarterback from somebody else that definitely isn't going to let a franchise quarterback go. You're going to start throwing darts at drafts and hope you hit one of those, or you hope you can sign a Jameis Winston and turn him into something amazing. Like you are absolutely asking for years of just
torment
because you let a franchise quarterback go who can take you to the playoffs.
Plus, Ravens fans after this year, when they don't get it done, are just going to point to, well, we need to surround him with more weapons. They're right. Guaranteed that's what's going to happen, which they're absolutely right. They're going to say that we need to surround him with more weapons. I don't care who you put at quarterback there. They're not going to do – at least he has the element of being able to run because he doesn't have any weapons, man.
He doesn't have an Aaron Jones.
All right, so let's apply this to fantasy. From a dynasty perspective, you draft Lamar. Say one of the first 5 quarterbacks off the board. Dynasty.
Yeah.
You're comfortable with that. You're planning on him being a Raven.
5th.
4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I take Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes. Yeah, Lamar.
He's the QB4 right now as far as your startup goes. It's Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, then Lamar, and then Burrow.
Okay, and would you feel safer in a dynasty going Lamar or Kyler Murray, quarterback for the future? It's got to be Kyler, right? The arm, man, the arm. I gotta have a quarterback who can throw.
Lamar.
Wow.
You keep saying that, but is Lamar terribly inaccurate or something?
Yes.
Let me. I'm like so gassy. I'm absolutely just like blowing myself out over here.
It's Lamar, bro.
What? Let's say Kyler leaves Arizona, and let's say he goes somewhere like trying to think of a good example. A team's got some weapons. I don't know, let's say he goes to like Carolina, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, McCaffrey. He explodes there, right?
No.
What? So, what's the average completion percentage for a good quarterback in the NFL?
He's like, I don't want to say 60.
It's above, it's like 65% or so. Guys, the record used to be 70%. Guys break that all the time now.
Lamar Jackson's career completion percentage is 64.1%.
Okay.
Is that a bad passer?
Completion percentage? No, but I think there's more to it than that. I think you got.
Bro, it's low volume. It's low volume. That's all, man. He's only thrown the ball over 400 times once in his career, and
he did it 401 times. And that was
his MVP season.
And that was actually his best completion percentage of his career was when he threw the most.
So what you're saying is let Lamar cook? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
I'm saying he's accurate. I'm saying he's not a completely inaccurate, inept passer.
No, he's no Jalen Hurts and he's no Justin Fields. That's for sure. I'm not saying that. I'm not implying that. I trust Kyler's arm a lot more than I trust Lamar's.
That's fine, but for fantasy, you're going to get more points from the legs, bro.
Okay. Wayne, are you taking Kyler or Lamar? Dynasty startup.
Lamar.
Tomorrow.
Lamar, and it's not difficult.
Okay. All right. The last hot take I've got. Who ends up with more Super Bowl rings? Joe Burrow? Pat Mahomes?
Oh, man. I don't like it because of the recency bias either.
I'm going to let y'all think. I'm going to let you think on it, but I'm going to say this because I feel pretty strongly about this one.
I think I'm going to agree with you.
I like Pat Mahomes. He's got a 1-ring lead. He's only been to the AFC Championship game. That's all he knows. He didn't know anything less than that in his entire career. He gets you there. Now I want to see what he does without Tyreek.
I'm not going to agree with you.
Wait. He's won a Super Bowl. He gets past the AFC.
But I'm saying that the lowest playoff
gets the AFC Championship every year is what he's saying.
Oh, gotcha.
To me, just off of nothing but talent, like pure arm talent, Mahomes is head and shoulders above Burrow, but Burrow's a dog, boys. He's a dog.
The reason I think that Joe Burrow is going to win more is simply because Pat Mahomes, he made his money. Travis Kelce's getting old. We've already talked about that. I think there's going to be a regression in his best weapon. They traded away his other best weapon. His running back is subpar at best. So for some reason, like Tyrann Mathieu gone. Like for some reason, I don't know what's going on in the Chiefs organization, but like they're not keeping their best players.
He's a $500 million man. He can't afford
it. And Joey B is surrounded by young studs. Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They just beefed up the offensive line. I think that team's built to be successful for a while. I think they're going to be the only knock against the Bengals and Joe Burrow not passing them on that is the AFC. AFC is young as a whole and great as a whole. He's going to have to steal. He's going to have to steal 2 or 3 that weren't meant for him.
Mahomes is going to go through the same thing though in the AFC. Right now Burrow's window is better. It's slightly more open than Mahomes is because of the contract. So essentially, you have another 3 or 4 more years. Well, really 3 because Mahomes is coming into his 3rd year. You got 2, maybe 3 years before they're going to pay Burrow. And they're going to pay Burrow.
Yeah.
So, they have a window right now to where they're going to have Jamar Chase for another 4 years. They're going to have T. Higgins for another 3 years. It just depends on if they keep hitting in the draft. And they haven't paid Joe Burrow yet. He's going to make a lot of money. He's probably going to make at least $45 million a year. Probably more than Josh Allen because he's been to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen makes $43 million a year right now on his new deal. So it's a tough one, man. I'll go ahead and say Joe Burrow right now because he's got the window of opportunity, a better one.
Do we trust Mike Brown to pay to keep that Bengals roster intact?
They've sucked for so long.
I think he's so excited. I think he's so excited that
he doesn't buy Gatorade for the players. He makes them drink from a water fountain. Like that's on record.
That's because he's saying to the players, "Shut up and take my money." Basically, it's how it's going to be. He's going to pay.
At the same time, though, like if you start being like, the more successful your team is, the more you're charging for tickets, the more concession goes up, the more money you're making. I think a successful team, man. Winning solves everything, and that team started winning.
So you guys think Burrow can win two rings minimum in his career?
Yeah, absolutely. I made $200 last year off of Joe Burrow simply making the playoffs because I made a bet with 2 of my boys that the year before when he tore his ACL, just that he passed the eye test to me. He looks like a beast. He looks great. He passes the eye test 100%. Said Joe Burrow will win a playoff game. They said no, never in his career in a Bengals uniform. They each put up $100 a piece, and that was just easy money right there. He's good, man. He's real good.
It's the youth and talent around him. It's the youth. If he had a bunch of old dudes that were talented, if he had some 29, 30-year-olds, stud receivers, and like a 26 or like a 27-ish stud running back, then I'd kind of be like, the window's kind of he's got young studs everywhere.
He's got the it factor too. He's got the it factor.
Does that mean in a dynasty you're drafting Joe Burrow ahead of Mahomes?
No.
You're saying he's going to be better, right?
No, I think the Bengals are going to be better. I think from a fantasy perspective, you look at Pat Mahomes, that game plan for the Chiefs is to let it rip Pat Mahomes. But when you got the Bengals, Joe Burrow's very good, but they're also going to feed Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon's 27 years old.
They'll find someone else, dude. The balanced run, like the balanced, plan of attack works for them.
So the Chiefs keep...
The Chiefs are way more pass heavy.
And you think they stay that way?
Yeah, as long as Andy Reid's the coach.
Do you trust to increase CEH's workload and still be successful?
They went and got Rojo for a reason.
Oh,
yeah, to pass the ball. Brian Westbrook, LaShawn McCoy, Jamal Charles, all these guys.
I hate answering these because I got to look at Begley's stupid face reaction every time he does it. Every time I answer something.
Yeah, Rojo's your guy. That's your Brian Westbrook.
Who? Rojo?
Rojo? Yeah, I said they went and signed Rojo.
Yeah, they're not signing him to run the ball 100,000 times. They're signing him to pass to out of the backfield. That's been Andy Reid's go-to forever, man. Like
that's
Brian
why they
Westbrook
snagged
never
Le'Veon
led
Bell.
the league in rushing. LaShawn McCoy never led the league in rushing. Like they were good because they caught out of the backfield.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, hey, boys, there you have it. Hot takes. Not so much a little bit of fantasy relevance in there. You could apply it, but just pure NFL hot takes. Right off the Panini press.
Good times.
Good times, man. That's just fun, boys. I enjoy doing these kind of sessions, just like the Q&As, man. Just off the cuff.
Just a bit of gabbing. Just a bit of gabbing.
Hot takes one. This is hot takes one.
Hot takes one. We kind of agreed, man. There wasn't a lot of disagreements there. I was surprised. I thought for sure you morons would just say the wrong thing, but you didn't.
Few verbal Donnie Brooks.
I mean, if you want arguments, please refer to our tight end podcast if you haven't already listened to it.
Or literally
there
any
will
other
be
podcast.
Plenty. Yeah, really. That is true.
Rankings podcast. Just like
you would think, on a hot takes one, we would have much differing opinions and a whole lot of roasting, but
that's Begley's fault,
pretty
right?
mild.
He didn't find anything spicy enough. That's on Begley. This is Hot Takes episode 1. We'll do better. I like it. I feel like we can keep doing it. That's 3 episodes a week on the off season, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna do hot takes, Q&As, and our weekly meat
potatoes.
Yeah.
Maybe we transform hot takes into the plant the flag episodes. I mean, you want to get me riled up? You put Travis Kelce at 4. Plant your flag on that. Old Dad will be over here riled up.
That's for the meat and potatoes when we plant flags on guys.
Hot around the collar when I saw that.
You don't want to be planting so many flags, man. Otherwise your flag, you just look like my yard before I put this fence in. I love plugging my fence in on every single. You look like my yard when I had like the gas company come out and do 87 flags through my yard. You don't want those flags. You want the big, massive flags. You know the big flag that's over RV World in Georgetown? That like big 100-foot jammy up there? That's the flag. That's what my flags are going to be. Not these little Delta Gas don't dig here flags.
Which, to remind everybody, is Aaron Jones for MVP, Travis Kelce at 4, and
Pat Fryermuth for MVP.
Okay. And Begley's is Hollywood Brown, wide receiver 1, gonna be a stud. Pat Fryermuth for MVP.
Hollywood at 13. Lock it in. Stand by it.
Unlock it. Take it out. Throw it away.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's wrap it up. Wayne, I'll let you take it from here, man.
All right, boys and girls. Twitter at MadFFPodcast. Email madffpodcast@gmail.com. YouTube Mad Fantasy Football Podcast. We are on Spotify. We are on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Samsung, Amazon. Find us. Give us some questions. Leave a comment on our videos, and we will get to them in the Q&A. We are on Reddit. We're
Twitter.
on Facebook. I already mentioned Twitter. You're not paying attention.
Twitter twice.
We got our burner account on there, bro. You got to give that one a shout out. We got our Kevin Durant out there.
Brina. All right. We appreciate you, Mad Mob. We will see you on the next episode.
Thank you guys.